and welcome back to episode 2 of the Ego Drop. I'm Steph.
And I'm Nicole.
So we're going to ask you, how has your week been? But first of all, how's your week been, Nicole?
Oh, my week's been good. Been very busy this week, so I'm really grateful for that. But most importantly, I've started back at the gym.
Oh,
yeah, my other half's been pushing me to get my shit into gear. So I've been back in the gym, and this week I made it, I think, 4 days.
Wow, well done.
So I'm super proud
really
this
impressive.
week. Yeah,
Excellent.
even today I went to the gym at 7 o'clock this morning.
Oh my gosh.
On a weekend.
On
So
Saturday.
I'm super proud. Yeah. So feel very positive, and we're here now doing our recording. So of course,
Excellent.
productive week.
Well,
How's yours?
Yeah, mine's been busy. There's been a lot of projects dwindling on, so lots and lots to do. And similarly, I've been using my little home gym quite a bit. So yeah, very fitness orientated.
Ooh, go girl.
Yeah, woohoo! So
Yeah.
tell us how your week's been. You know, you can contact us on the usual social media platforms, but please let us know. We want to know. We want to get to know you.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's start, shall we, by asking one another, how do you think ego has affected you this week? So you can go first.
My ego this week has been, oh gosh, I'm going to give you one example. How about that? Personal example. So I have a birthday coming up as you in a couple of weeks. Oh my gosh. Right, so I'm having a birthday in a couple of weeks.
We've got the stripper ready.
If only. Can you imagine? Let's do it. Yeah, so I have a birthday coming up, as you're aware, and I just couldn't decide on what I wanted to do. And everyone was like, oh, let's have a party, let's do this, let's do that, big party, big. And I was like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to have a party in my back garden. I want a few people to come over. I don't know, maybe because I'm lazy, maybe because I'm boring, maybe it's both, who knows. But I just wanted to, because I like the no restrictions on time, and how long we can sit and eat, how long we can chat, people can hang out, whatever, and people just leave when they want. So I wanted to have a party at home.
Yeah.
And my other half was like, well, it's going to take a lot of work, and you're not going to be da-da-da-da-da, and blah, blah, blah. So in the end, I had to just put my ego aside and just say, you know what, let's do something different. And so I'm going to go out instead.
Okay.
Keep it simple. Out, I don't have to cater to anyone or cater for anyone, look after anyone, and I can just enjoy my birthday. So
Fair enough, as long as it's what you want to do and you're going to enjoy it, then excellent.
of course, we'll have a few bevies. You'll be there.
So you've let go of your ego there.
Digging in my heels,
Got you.
and saying, I want, I'm going to. I was initially like that. I'm going to be honest. I was literally, because this is what I said to my dad. I was like, I don't want to have, literally, I don't want to have a party. Not shouting, obviously. I was saying, I don't want to have a party if I'm going anywhere where I'm going to have to, dress up and sit there at a table and be the center of attention.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to have any balloons in the corner, blah, blah.
Well, there goes my plans. I have to cancel the balloon arch.
No pissing balloons.
You watch, I'm going to tie one to my wrist now.
I know, you know what, Steph? I know you so well. You actually
know I
do
will.
that just to one.
Absolutely.
And you go,
I might fashion a dress out of balloons, Gaga style, just sort of.
That was so funny. I would just look at you with that look like, because you know what though, you've got the quirkiest dresses that you would turn up in. So
I did wear one with cats all over to your wedding, didn't I?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And it wouldn't surprise me if you turn up with a dress with balloons all over it.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
You better stick to no comment. But yeah. But it's just that thing. It just felt for me, because obviously I've looked at like lots of my friends, friends, school, people I've gone to school with and so on, who's celebrating the birthdays of the same year as myself. And I can see them with their balloons and their sequins dresses and all of that stuff, and I'm thinking,
It's not really you, is it?
can you imagine this hairstyle with a sequin dress?
I can actually, and it looks good.
Anyway, you tell me, how has ego affected your week or affected you this week?
Okay, well, going back to the fitness angle, really, you're just thinking about the balloon dress, aren't you? Going back to the fitness angle, like on Facebook, I keep getting these memories from, over the years.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, this month, I ran the Manchester Marathon.
Oh, wow.
So I'm getting a lot of memories this week of all of that. And I've seen a lot of people actually running it as well.
Yeah.
And it's really made me angry with myself that I've kind of lost that long distance running ability. So I have been back running, as I think I mentioned on the last podcast.
Yes.
And I've been slowly building it up, but I'm still only at like a sort of 3-4 mile
Yeah.
sort of distance at the moment, and I get really cross with myself.
Wow.
Really cross that I feel unfit, can't do it. But I think, like most people during lockdown, I think you went one way or the other, or you either became uber fit or you'd completely lost it. And
Yeah.
I did the latter. But I think as well as it being a physical challenge, it's also a mental challenge.
Yes. Yes.
And although I got through the marathon, which is obviously post-COVID, it was a real hard slog to train.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided that I'd never want to do a full marathon again. Half marathons are my thing. But even so, you know what it's like when you run, because I know you've run in the past. Like as soon as you stop, it's like starting again. So it's just getting that willpower to start again. But yeah, so I've been really, really frustrated with myself, and it's all about vanity, isn't it? It's all about wanting to say, well, I can run 10 miles, or I look this way because I go running. So it's
so around that I can see the ego.
The
around
ego
that bit.
linked to the vanity, and
Yeah.
just trying to let that go and just release the negative self-talk and just think, well, actually, you can run 3 miles. That's pretty good, really.
But I think also something, if I can just chime in, is something I'd say it's about being patient. Something you can learn from that is
Not
about
very patient.
yeah, just being
really.
patient with yourself in saying, 2 years ago, what were you doing?
Yeah.
That enabled you to do that marathon.
It's like with me, if I don't get something straight away,
Yeah.
I'm off.
Yeah.
So the knitting machine that I bought in the new year, that had one Saturday afternoon where it nearly went through the window, that's gone. My crochet kit that I bought a few weeks ago, spent a bank holiday afternoon.
I'm sorry, how old are you?
I know, I'm
knitting machine, crochet kit.
No, you've got to prepare for one's older age, No, actually, crocheting, there's lots of ladies that come to my yoga classes with the most beautifully crocheted blankets for Shavasana. And I just thought, they look lovely on the sofa. And
How old are they though? Come on, how old are they though?
They're not, no, don't be impolite. They might listen, they're not that old. They're not that old.
Okay.
Cool. And in actual fact, it's a...
I haven't met them, so I don't know, because I know, lots of these young girls are into the trend of crocheting.
But it is crocheting, I think, I'm going to just make something up now. Crochet's for young people too.
I'm sure
not
it is.
young, I don't care. It's part of my midlife crisis. But no, that went to the wall.
Yeah.
So if I don't get something straight away, it's a wonder that I've been running for as long as I have, to be honest. That's one thing that I, for some reason, stick with.
It serves you, that's why.
Wow.
It serves
Eventually, when I finally get there. So yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. That's me in a nutshell.
I must say though, I'm tickled.
You're thinking about me in my balloon dress crocheting, aren't you? I know you are. And on that note, let's take a break.
Oh, please do. So welcome back to part 2. Each week we will reflect on our experiences of ego and how it has affected us, and we will also apply ego to different topics. What is the topic for this week, Steph?
It is the benefits of ego. So we're talking about it in a more positive light. So what are the benefits of ego?
So the benefit, a benefit I can think of off the top of my head is something like, for example, boosting self, boosting your confidence, because I think when we spoke last week, one of the points I think maybe I've made, well, if it's not me, it's got to be you. But I think one of the points that I'd made, and I think it's right, that it's about helping to, it's almost like it drives us.
Yeah.
So gives us that little kick, that little boost. You know, you can do it. You know, don't worry, you can do it. You got this kind of thing. Yeah. So it's like when I spoke about me jumping from the doing the jump from the from the parachute, and I was scared.
Visions of you on a trampoline. Then I'm sorry to
Trampoline.
I was just thinking jump. What?
Hell no.
I can jump.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But seriously though, no. But I think a benefit of
Like a skydive.
ego. Yeah, skydive. Yeah, I couldn't think of a word, and I've done it. But the benefit of you know, ego, as far as I understand it, is it builds it's good for confidence.
It is, isn't it?
So a positive to it is that it can help you to feel confident. It also pushes you to confront fears that you might have, you know. So, you know, things that you think you're scared of, or you can't do, or you've never done it and you think, oh, I'd be rubbish at that. Then it might be helpful in that respect. You know, help to kind of push you forward, you know. You know, and of course, it pushes one to be more ambitious, as you've alluded to already. So I think it's helpful in that way. It helps us to overcome fears.
Yeah, it does. And it helps leaders, in particular, entrepreneurs, business owners. Helps them to be less deterred by the possibility of failure. So it's sort of linked to what you said about fears. And also to learn from mistakes. You know, if you've got a healthy ego, then you don't mind making the mistakes. Obviously, no one wants to, but if you do, you'll learn from them rather than just kick yourself or have a tantrum. Then you'll learn from them, and then you can apply that to your life. So absolutely, it is important.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about like lots of leaders and so on, you know, government officials, and I mean, I can think of one in particular from America, very, very bulgy. Very, very, you know, one may look from the outside, looking and say, he's egotistical, isn't he? But in fact, he's probably very confident in himself as a person, businessman, president, that kind of thing. So it's about, you know, it helps, you know, lots of these world leaders to be able to lead, because they haven't got that fear of you know, the failure is not an option for them. So it's almost a case of, you know, I know what I'm doing. You know,
and I think it's Freud that says that, you know, if you've got a healthy ego, you can make some of the best decisions, and that's obviously, you know, that would apply to that, wouldn't it? Really? So,
is that where the expression comes from as well? You know, I'm obviously not from Freud, but fake it until you make it, because then you become more.
Well, you certainly boost your self-confidence.
Yeah, because if you do enough, it's about repetition, and then the confidence will come eventually.
Definitely, and self-belief is good and perfectly healthy, isn't it? It's you know, especially if you're willing to learn from those mistakes. Definitely.
Indeed. So yes, I mean, those are some of the benefits I can think of. Can you think of anything else?
I think it can give you resilience to cope in difficult situations, I should say. So stronger resilience to cope in difficult situations. So when you find yourself facing something that's challenging, you know, rather than giving up, if you've got a healthy ego, you can get through it. Yeah.
I guess you develop the sense of you know, again, going back to confidence, stronger, as you said, stronger willpower. And that's because of having a healthy ego. Really, then it helps you to deal with things like the stresses of life.
Yeah, having that emotional control, isn't it?
Yeah. Because then that helps to center you, one may say, and help to drive you forward.
Definitely.
Of course, we'll be exploring more in terms of the negative sides of ego as well in a later episode, because of course we've got to look at both sides of it, so that it's you know, one has a balance, because it's certainly not a one-sided process in terms of how ego impacts, because we know that it affects us in both ways, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And I think one thing we should probably touch on, which I know we mentioned on the last episode, but it's going to be the sort of habits that you can develop to try to improve the healthiness of your ego. So for instance, some of the things we mentioned was meditation, exercise, reading, having a hobby, getting better at a hobby can obviously boost your confidence and create that healthy ego. So there's lots and lots of different habits that you can introduce into your life, isn't there?
But I think also, yes, but I think also in addition to those healthy habits, it might also help to have connection with others. So even through yoga, you'd have connection with others. I know you can do yoga from home as well, because that's another option. But once you've built up your confidence enough, you've been in a place where you feel able to for example, be around others. If, for example, let's say you have social anxiety issues or some anxiety issues, and at first you're not bold or confident enough to go out and just join a yoga class or group somewhere. You can actually start from home, and you've built up your confidence a little bit. You can then go out and participate in certain kind of...
Definitely, and building that sense of community. I mean, I know we said last time that the topics will probably bleed into one another, or link back, but when we were talking last time about criticism, if you feel open to discuss with others the criticism that you've had, again, that can help you process, reflect on it, understand if it's positive or negative. So again, I agree, sense of community. I think most people, I think the human beings, they do crave that connection with others. And I know if you're an introvert, you might be listening to this thinking, not me, but I think generally as a species we do crave that that community. And so I think that's a really good way of trying to boost your self-worth, self-confidence, and ultimately then harnessing that healthier ego. Definitely. I think when you've got that sort of confidence, that's when you can then make those positive decisions, make positive changes to your life, and keep that ego in check. Whereas if you are not practicing healthy habits, and we're not talking just diet and exercise, I mean, those are obvious things that, many an influencer would tell you.
That's one of the things.
But aside from that, if you're not practicing healthy habits for your mind more than anything, then that's when your ego becomes out of control or more fragile, and then you're going to have a bit more of a negative response. Your self-worth will dip. You'll probably lash out a bit more. You won't be able to take comments well.
And if you're used to doing stuff like negative talking, then that is part of what will keep you in that place of not thinking or feeling positively, because again, your ego is in that place of the opposite of the benefits.
Definitely, and it's about accepting that you can do things and doing them, isn't it, as well? Having that confidence, putting yourself out there.
Feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Absolutely. So for me, if I think about how ego has benefited me, like the first things that come to mind is starting my own business, and when I look back at that, it was a bizarre decision, because there was no I'm not going to say this now,
we was born out of
there's no real plan. It was just, let's do this, and off I went. So it's bizarre really when I look back. I don't know how I had the confidence. Maybe my ego was a bit wild.
No, but it was good.
But it was successful, and it was touch wood, it was I loved what we created. And then being a yoga teacher, the first time you walk through the doors with a hall full of people, and you're trying to get over that imposter syndrome, which I still have from time to time in all areas of my life.
It's true. No, but we do. We do.
And then, of course, doing this, putting ourselves out here as podcasters, ego, our positive ego, hopefully has helped us do this, and we hope that we come across humble and not like we're trying to take over the world, because it's certainly not the case. We just love this topic, and we obviously want to engage. So definitely, I think that's how ego's benefited myself.
I can see though, looking back at your journey, because obviously I was there with you.
You were.
I mean, the thing
should have been on board with me, but I couldn't.
I was going to say, the thing is, we've never actually, introduced you guys to how we who we are and so on. But Steph actually used to be my manager at a firm, and I remember when she decided she was going, she's going to move on. She and I were meant to move on together, as she just said. But your ego, we were like, let's do this. You remember?
Yeah. I dragged you down, didn't I, into the conference room, and had a little convo with you.
Yeah, and I was feeling pumped. And then somehow I went home. The negative voice went in my head.
Yeah.
So
Your ego wasn't,
No, mine
your
was in a negative
self-worth,
place.
yeah, it was a bit more
mine was
negative.
in a place of negativity where I was like, no. I've got these things. And I was making the excuses why I couldn't do that. Whereas I didn't have your vision, so you were able to, step out positively and say, hey.
But I've been like a devil on your shoulder ever since, haven't I? You can do it, go do the thing.
And you know what? And I'm grateful for that because it has propelled me to be where I am now.
Yeah.
Now I'm here on my own, and now you've moved on from that project, and it's still going successfully.
But you've had positive experiences of ego
definitely.
as well, haven't you?
Definitely.
So I
Definitely.
think you should.
I mean, as a result of the encouragement that you gave me, I then just flew. I just like, okay, I wasn't bold enough to go and have a firm, but I just went off there on my own, freelance, and said, I've got this. And thankfully, you instructed me. You had the belief in me still. So, I was inspired by you initially saying, let's go.
I go through my working life picking out the people that I want to drag along with me, and they always get dragged along.
But thank you for picking me as well.
There's a few others who'll know who they
are
as well.
No, thank you for picking me as well, because you know what? It's so easy for us to lack the confidence that we need to move, to project, to propel ourselves, And it's so easy for us to just sit still and not move. And it works.
Yeah.
For some.
Definitely.
But we've got to recognize what works for us and what doesn't work, or what once worked but no longer serve us.
Yeah, that's a big one. Definitely.
And I think
letting go of what doesn't serve
exactly.
you. Whether it's a job you've been in for 20 years, whether it's a relationship you've been in for 10
Absolutely.
years.
Yeah.
If it's not serving you, just having the confidence to let it go. It's scary. It's awful sometimes, but you've got to have that acceptance, haven't you? You've got to.
Yes, and just believe that you're going to be okay. And in that process, you need that bit of ego. You need that bit of selfishness. You need that bit of self at the front of everything.
Yeah, because it will safeguard you, won't it, from hurt and from rejection. So it's so important. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and you can build and in that process, I mean, you build on your self-esteem. It might just mean that you might have one outcome in mind, but you also helps to be open-minded about the prospect or the possibility that it might turn out this or that way. And that's my fear was exactly that, and that's why I didn't make any moves that I'd made. But I made the move in a different direction, so I didn't join you in setting up that firm and being business partners in that firm, but here we are today.
Yeah, exactly. We knew we would end up doing some projects together, didn't we? And we've and ahed ever since over different things, whether you were coming on to join us in a different capacity or what have you. So there was always going to be something that we were going to do together. I'd never thought in a million years it would be something like this.
But it meant that that time I spent, if you may say, building my self-esteem, as a freelance, criminal lawyer, being more confident within myself as an individual, so that when the time comes for me to pivot in the next direction, I'm able to do that. And I think sometimes, sometimes, it's just worthwhile taking that time out, sitting, reflecting, and then looking at what's going on, the pros and cons, and not be led by your ego in a negative way, because you've got to weigh up.
Definitely. And for some people, things like therapy and coaching and all that sort of stuff can also be beneficial. So if it's not something that you can help yourself with, you don't find it easy to meditate, you don't have the time to build sort of healthy habits, and again, that's something you can explore as well. Help boost your self-worth, self-confidence.
Yes. But that said, we've talked about some of the benefits of the ego and how it serves us, and we've talked about, of course, how our own experiences, and certainly we'll invite you and ask you to share with us
Yeah.
your own experiences of how your egos have benefited you. Share with us how you've dealt with those, experiences that you've had. Send us, those through to us via email at theegodrop@gmail.com. Also, drop us comments on TikTok and Instagram. And of course, on the podcast, please, we will certainly seek to share your views and comments with others.
Yeah, and you can also watch us if you really want to on YouTube. So I just want to say thank you very much for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the discussion, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.